One of the world's leading investigative reporters and my dear friend and Fox colleague, Geraldo Rivera, one of the most respected journalists in America, made a stunning revelation days ago about his views of the events on 9/11. Is this healthy skepticism, or has he gone too far? The man himself is here to explain it all. The one, the only, Geraldo Rivera.
Hey,
Geraldo, welcome here. Welcome to Freedom Watch. I want to play a little tape of what you played on your show last weekend. I want you to watch what you watched, and then we're going to play a tape of what you said after you watched it. Here we go.
I lost my son,
My nephew.
My uncle.
My son.
on September 11th, 2001.
Most people don't know that a third tower fell on September 11th.
World Trade Center 7, a 47-story skyscraper, was not hit by a plane.
Although the official explanation is that fire brought down Building 7
Over 1,200 architects and engineers have looked into the evidence.
and believe there is more to the story.
Bring justice to my son.
My uncle.
My nephew.
My son.
And thousands of others who died on September 11th.
Go to buildingwhat.org.
Caught my eye is their claim that more than 1,300 architects and engineers examined the evidence about Building 7's collapse and disagree with the official report issued by the National Institute of Standards and Technology.
It is November 2010. Why are you, with all the spotlight that you can draw to what you say because of who you are, revisiting 9/11 and who caused it or who may have caused it now?
Let me take one brief back step and contextually say that I loathe conspiracy theories.
I know that.
I've investigated the Bermuda Triangle. My
Right.
son Cruz and I were just watching a documentary about it. The Kennedy assassination. I played the Zapruder film for the first time on national
You're not a
television.
fan of Jesse,
I am absolutely.
Jesse Ventura on that one.
Or conspiracies generally. But what caught my eye here, Judge, and I think that it would have been irresponsible of me because I care so much, is this commercial that the families put out about how not only do they ache and that they want these questions answered, but also that they have these 1,300 architects and engineers who doubt the official conclusion about how Building 7 was brought down.
Do you doubt the official conclusion of how Building 7 came down?
I think that it is highly unlikely that our government would do anything nefarious on a scale of this epic nature. However, the building does appear to come down in a way that is reminiscent of a controlled demolition.
All right, here's what you also said. We have another clip of you talking about up until now.
Up until now, only those considered nut jobs questioned the official conclusion that office fires caused by the nearby catastrophe of the towers collapsing brought down Building Number 7. And if explosives were involved, that would mean that the most obnoxious protesters in recent years are right.
Could the most obnoxious protesters in recent years be right if the explosives were there and the government didn't cause it, didn't know about it, but won't tell us about it?
Could is a very, very big word, but if indeed explosives were involved, then yes, those loathsome 9/11 were an inside job protesters maybe have some reason to have adherence of people more mainstream, more responsible than them.
Before we leave, what will you do when you have the choice at an airport with your wife and lovely children of the porn scan or the public grope?
I will take the electronic radiation poisoning over the grope because I have an artificial knee anyway, so I get one or the other enhanced techniques. But I call for racial profiling. I think it is time.
All right, we'll talk about racial profiling at another time. Is it the role of government to be groping our private parts in public in a free society against our will?
I don't know about our junk, but it is definitely invasive, totally obnoxious, and I think very, very crude.
Geraldo, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Back with the truth, the plain truth, that is, after this. Does the government work for us, or are we here to serve the government? If the Constitution guarantees our freedoms, how does the government get away with violating them? Shouldn't a guarantee be a guarantee? If you buy a car, the manufacturer and the dealer guarantee that it will work as a car. If you buy food at the supermarket, the grower or manufacturer and the owners of the supermarket guarantee that it will be pure and not contaminated. If you buy a prescription drug from your drugstore, the pharmaceutical company and the pharmacist guarantee its purity and that it is the same drug that your physician prescribed. The law imposes on manufacturers and sellers of goods the burden of being truthful. But somehow it has become different with the government. Presidents like FDR and George W. Bush have openly mocked the Constitution, even though they have all taken a solemn oath to uphold it. The Constitution says that the police cannot arrest you for playing chess in a public park. That violates due process of law, meaning only elected officials can make law, not bureaucrats trying to tell us how to live. And the police should know better. This isn't yet a totalitarian society. A good cop would refuse to arrest an old man for playing chess in a public park, because an unjust law is no law at all and carries no obligation of obedience. The same principles apply to you and your body and the government at an airport. The Constitution prohibits unreasonable searches and seizures without a warrant. That's another guarantee that the government breaks. The Supreme Court, which is the final interpreter of the Constitution, has already ruled many times that the government cannot touch your body against your will without a search warrant from a judge. And the judge cannot issue such a warrant without probable cause that you have evidence of a crime on your person. In Afghanistan, this principle of probable cause is respected. In Israel, this principle of probable cause is respected. In American prisons, this principle of probable cause is respected. At American airports. Stated differently, shouldn't a guarantee in the Constitution be more valid, more reliable, and more universally accepted than one from a seller of food or prescription drugs? How is it that you can sue the grocer or the pharmacist if you get hurt or sick, and you can buy your goods elsewhere, but we just let the constitutional violations from the government happen over and over and over again? Has this porn or grope, or this porn and grope, stopped a single terrorist, found a single weapon, or uncovered a single explosive? No. Can you think of any human right, natural or constitutional, that has not been nullified by the government? No. Is it too late to reverse all this? No. More about reversing this awful trend next week. But before we sign off for this week, I must tell you that we at Freedom Watch, and it is not just me, it is a team of terrific, hardworking professionals who bring you this show. We at Freedom Watch love our work. Our values are your values. Your battle for freedom is our battle. The principles of human freedom, limited government, natural rights, and sound money will animate all we do. We are your night watchmen. Unfortunately, there is much for us to watch. As we watch for you, we hope you will continue to watch us. From New York, defending freedom. Have a nice weekend, America.